Welcome to Joey Fixes Your Life, a motivational podcast to help you on your journey no matter where your season finds you. These podcasts are designed to candidly, honestly, objectively, and humorously look at life and get some guidance to best live it through your day-to-day challenges. I always say I'm no expert at anything other than how to be myself, and in saying that I've learned a lot about what works for me. And also finding out what has worked for me, I do my best to share it in such a way where others can apply it to their own lives if they choose. I believe we're all looking for more encouragement, far less judgment, acknowledgement, acceptance, peace, companionship, fulfillment, and love. In recognizing this, my goal with my podcast is to take on some of these ideas, how they show up in your life amidst great challenge, and what you can do to still experience them even if deterred. Something I frequently say is make good choices, which at one time was a sitcom-style joke I gained from moral-driven television. It stopped being a joke when I realized it truly does mean just that, and I've thus adopted it when I talk to people and when I take them on as students as their life coach. I actually upgrade that to make productive choices. So, let's tuck into this podcast and see what surfaces. Adversity and me. First, I'd like to thank everyone for their feedback from the pilot podcast episode 1, Pulling Up. It was wonderful to hear that it was something helpful and motivating to listen to. Thank you for supporting the idea, and now here I am back with another installment to lend more to your current space. So enjoy, comment, share it with friends. We could all use more signs to lead us to our peace of mind. So, I was in the gym this morning at my complex, and as I'm on the treadmill, I'm looking at my current situation for life. Since the first episode, things have slightly leveled out, which has been great, and there are still a few more challenges that I haven't been putting on. I was coaching a student yesterday. She and I are actually in very similar spaces with job searches and finances, and in our session, I found it was just as helpful in leading it as it was to be able to take something away from it. My question for today is, who can you be at times of great challenge? I mentioned that I want to find a way to discuss some of life's most crucial topics, especially in direct relation to our feeling state, and for me, this episode will touch acceptance and peace. When life is throwing everything at you, what kinds of choices are you making is a great question to start with. This leads to a follow-up question: who do you have the opportunity to be in the face of these choices? This is Adversity in Me, how to experience your best self while confronting the battles of everyday life. I'm continuing my workout process and begin asking myself, what are the kinds of things I'm doing to improve how I feel towards the challenges I'm faced with? Well, right now I'm exercising a self-care, career task development, and daily acknowledgement regimen. What are these 3 things? Self-care is the first thing on my list. I'm looking at how I'm resting, recovering, eating, spiritual connecting, reading, physical exercising, and personal compassion activities. I find that in taking steps to care more about how I feel, I have a greater opportunity to look at my daily tasks that exist externally from me. The one thing I tell myself each morning is that I have the chance to look at life positively no matter what is taking place. That is one of the most empowering mind frames to maintain. It truly sets the day up. The next thing I transition into after I've showered and had breakfast is I determine for the day what things I'm going to do that will help progress my working life forward. I look at this in 2 parts: the job to work to get established, the career to develop so I can help others and truly lift off for financial freedom, stability, and financial enjoyment. This is my career task development regimen. The first thing I do is check my bank account. Regardless of how much or how little I see, I tell myself the same thing. You can be positive about how you feel regarding money. It is just a tool to build the best life possible. Stay responsible and accountable on spending habits, ideals, and everything will work out just fine. I take notes of things I know may require awareness of because, at least for me, I'd rather maintain that I know I have something I have to pay for versus ignoring it. I then work backwards by just computing and adjusting what's there and continue with my day. I'm used to everything always getting paid on time, and things being late, at all aren't typical for me. However, in recognizing my space, I'm giving myself time to find the best solutions, and if something is going to be late, it's temporary, and I can get back on track. One of the most powerful lessons I've learned in life is money does not equate your value of self. It doesn't make you any less or any more regardless of the amount you maintain of it. It's a tool you use to best accomplish living life based on where you are. I say simply make the most productive choice with it and be kind to yourself during the outcomes. The next thing I do is I check my calendar to see who I may be coaching for the day. This lets me know that I'm accountable to help others whom have enlisted my knowledge, and I need to step up to be able to lead them towards their personal goals. I tell myself that I can also make it possible to have a life as a coach as a full-time career with enough dedication to others, consistency, and production of graduates from my session. I then ask myself, how can I be creative with this new space of coaching? And I see if I can create more content for podcasts. In doing this, I also see where I am, what would motivate me in the space, and what I could do that would likely motivate others. In writing the podcast, I get to exercise continuing to be of use to others, and that fulfills a great need to connect with people regarding challenges and life changes that I have. After this, I ask myself alternately as well, if I'm not creating my opportunities surrounding coaching, can I do something, for creative writing? So I'll choose to write in one of the mini novels I've been developing. This helps me see that I can imagine worlds, develop opportunities for the discussion of my book themes that help others better experience their world, and of course, I love creating a way that helps others escape, which can be a healthy practice when it reinforces the belief that you can be, belong, and become greater with the right outlet to provoke those thoughts. I do the practical work thereafter towards my job establishment, which means looking through job listings, applying and following up when necessary. This means going to interviews with an open mind and communicating clearly during the screening process about what I am and am not looking to do. This whole process lets me see how capable I am, and that without effort, it is not realistic to imagine something will simply just transpire. During this whole process of looking for work and going to various interviews, I remember to tell myself the most important thing. The job that is for you will arise because you are being that much more specific in the participation of its manifestation. I lastly reinforce this space by saying that each opportunity to apply and interview is another point to experience my own diligence and resilience. Doing what we know we need to do doesn't need to come with the negativity or degradation of self because we must do them. The thought that serves you more productively is being grateful you have the chance to even put yourself out there and that you are making the effort to overcome the space with positivity, not pessimism or being resigned. The very last of all the things I do, because it allows me to practice something important, which is being able to use compassion and acceptance. Once I've done all that I need to do for the day, I sit with myself and I make a list of all the things I want to acknowledge that I've made progress on. I often tell people no matter how small something may be, it is movement, it is progress, and it uplifts you to stay, with what you're doing, and that you absolutely have to keep going. Why is this so important, you may ask? Well, like telling yourself you've done it all. People often do not understand that when they have no value of their self and their accomplishments, they radiate self-degradation instead. This is the quickest way to keep things from coming to you and would likely help you because your feeling state is a vibration that attracts to you more of the same thing. When you learn to exercise acceptance of what you've done, where you are, and what is going on, coupled with compassion and the ability of a positive acknowledgement, you build your self-value, and that will change your feeling state to vibrate at a much higher frequency to pull towards you what you need and manifest it as applicable. In the face of adversity, when it is easier to shrink back, do nothing, telling myself I can't change this or that, I am experiencing the person who is going to show up when times are difficult. If I continue to only tell myself negative things, behave resigned to other possibilities, then it stands to reason I can only expect my situation to worsen. The person I choose that will save the day is one whom is willing to see things as they are, not make myself wrong for something not working out the way I hoped or planned, and choose to pick myself up and make productive choices going forward. When I am that way, it feels by far more empowering in the face of the adversity, and with that I can shorten the time span staying worried about outcomes. The best thing I can always do is what I know I need to. Ask responsible questions, word them powerfully, and proceed to impact the space I'm in with a positive attitude. Ultimately, what I'm sharing is something I've learned and exercised more frequently with where my current season of life is. I'm employing patience, inspired action, evaluation, reconciliation, and compassion to aid me in confronting my adversity. I understand the gradual nature of things, and to be realistic with current components of my space as well, these lend to me experiencing myself as capable to overcome any challenge. I share all of this to encourage you to do the same, or any variation thereof that works for you. We learn that with asking productive questions, planning, consistency, execution, and reevaluation what kinds of lives we're setting in motion to experience for ourselves. Our ability to solve complex situations and those that are emotionally stimulating is that much more refined when we exercise acceptance and compassion towards ourselves and others. It is when we stop limiting ourselves in the face of great challenges do we ascend towards and feel our inner strength that helps us persevere. I say, continue to do what positively impacts your space. As you meet your challenges, be kinder to yourself, so that when adversity arises, you don't shrink in the face of what has come to make you fearful. Instead of degrading yourself and not taking action because of the fear to confront the challenge, you must love and encourage yourself throughout. And when it comes to adversity, this mindset will lead you to better outcomes time after time.